am here with Cinema Romantic,
Howdy.
Jacob PettyJohn.
I'm so honored, and I never thought in my life I would ever record audio. My voice, I've been told it's awful and not suited for audio production or narration of any sort. So I thank you for this opportunity, because I never would have gotten it anywhere else, and I'm just so thankful that somebody actually didn't spit on me for once. It was nice.
And then we're here with Erik Fedje, but you got to top that intro.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
God damn, Jacob just went hard on that intro.
Just went
It's like I had things to say, but it's fine.
Wait, no, say the things.
It's okay. Well, let's move on.
I ruined it. No.
That's almost like the movie we saw, guys.
Oh, I'm Colin Trevorrow? Holy shit.
Wait, hold on. You're saying Colin Trevorrow ruined something?
What?
That's
Colin Trevorrow ruined my marriage, not clickbait?
Well, he almost ruined Star Wars, but Star Wars did it to itself, so.
That's what I'm about to say. I'm like, there were a few other factors leading to that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're here to talk about Jurassic World Dominion, and we're probably going to end up talking about how we all feel about the Jurassic Park World franchise as a whole. So I figured the best way to get started is let's all try to sum up how we feel about this movie in one sentence.
Who wants to start?
I've been thinking of mine all day.
Oh my good. Okay, all right.
I was like, this is how I want to start this discussion. So I've been thinking.
Did I tell you guys I went to go see a good movie right after I saw this movie?
What was a good movie?
It was The Bad Guys. The Bad Guys was awesome. I literally needed like a fresh taste of a good movie right as soon as I got out of it. Like, because there was a showing like 10 minutes after Jurassic got out. I'm like, please, I need something good.
Okay, so I guess Petty John, you're saying that you this movie is so bad that you had to go watch another one.
Yeah, well, I wanted to see The Bad Guys to begin with, but like, still, I would highly recommend that if you are planning on taking your family to go see Jurassic World Dominion, change those tickets to The Bad Guys, or like literally anything else. That's what I'm saying. Like the only thing that got me through this movie was seeing the original cast in there, and even then, it seemed like they were making fun of the movie as it went along, being in the movie. Yeah. So this is a run-on sentence, but yeah, I think I do believe that people could surmise the theory that I didn't care for this movie.
What was it? The one line in the movie that Fedje told me even before I saw it, it was Jeff Goldblum going Jurassic World. Not a fan of it.
Yeah, he said that in the movie.
He said that in the movie. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Are we doing the sentence thing still?
Yeah, we can keep doing the sentence thing.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm gonna say, if you're looking for entertainment with dinosaurs, this movie has it. If you are looking for a movie that makes sense and is a satisfying conclusion to apparently 20-year saga, no, don't go see this movie.
Yeah, I'll say the most damning thing about this movie for me is that it made me want to see Top Gun Maverick, and I hate the first Top Gun so much. So that's saying a lot. But really, to sum it all up, and this is kind of both reflective of not only this trilogy, or this film, but probably the whole trilogy as a whole, is that the Jurassic World films can be summed up as a couple of kids playing with dinosaur toys in a sandbox.
You told me this the other day.
Yeah.
Only between shoveling fistfuls of sand in their mouths.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying, because I'm like, I think if you just want to see dinosaurs, this is fine. Like, that's all it has. That's like the best thing it's got going.
Yeah, and the dinosaur action is fun in it, I'll say.
Yeah.
A lot of it's a little too bombastic.
Yeah.
And the movie has a serious problem where there are so many characters and next to none of them get even injured at all. Everyone has super thick plot armor.
Plot armor, baby. It's
and which is
Well-
weird because like even like I would say up to the last movie, even none of them really had that problem. Like, they still had, body counts. You still had, because it's half the fun of these movies is seeing all the ways people get got by dinosaurs. But this one just didn't have any of that, which you would think it would because there's so many characters.
Did you forget the guy on the scooter?
Yeah, he's like the one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really thought that like at some point, Chris Pratt was gonna get his hand chomped off because he's always doing that dumb holding his hand up to the dinosaurs, even though they're wild animals.
Yeah.
Like I was just waiting. I was like, he's gonna get his hand bit.
It was it was kind of tolerable in the other movies because it like you can buy it like, oh, well, he trained these specific dinosaurs, like the raptors. Like, yeah. Okay.
From
but
birth.
now he just does it to literally every animal, and they all seem to respond to it. Where I'm like,
Well, they're not responding to it. They're looking down at him and they're confused because they're like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Imagine
Right.
if like Chris Pratt went to a zoo and did that to a lion, like in front of the. Like, I'm sure that would end well.
if Sam Neill did that in Jurassic Park 3 to those raptors, he would be pulling back a stump. Like,
Yeah, no. Well, okay. So in terms of comparisons to the first one, I'm like, it's not even like
the first,
it's a
the
joke.
original Park or Jurassic World?
The original
Because I would say
Park.
in terms of both cases, because I rewatched the first Jurassic World again after seeing this one, and it is shocking how much that one feels like a real movie compared to where it ended up going.
I haven't seen World since 2015.
Yeah.
The first Jurassic Park is so precious to me that like it's one of the movies that made me want to become a filmmaker, and like one of the first like scary movies that I saw as a kid. I guess scary in quotations, but I mean
no, that movie still it holds up. Like,
it holds up.
Yeah,
It's
like for me, Jurassic Park, even with its flaws, I consider it to be a perfect movie.
agreed.
hell yeah.
Before we like get too deep, can I have the art house opinion on
Yes,
the one
of course.
sentence man? You gentlemen, or
Oh shit! I'm sorry, man.
yeah, you're good. I mean, I'll say this: I had like zero interest in seeing this movie until two of you told me to watch it. I'm just
It's a
like,
masterpiece.
I was so clocked out of the Jurassic World franchise. I didn't see the second one of these, and I saw it in a I didn't see it in a theater, but I saw it at a hotel room. I'm like, what did I just watch? It was so bad. And then I got into this, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, it's okay. It's mid. It's not that great. It's not that bad either. The problem for me, and I think this will be a major gripe with all you, was it felt like 4 hours long.
Oh my! It never ended. It
did,
never
yes.
ended.
And that's like all of the other Jurassic films are like a brisk 2 hours. 3 also is like only 90 minutes. So
This was
it's
like 2.5, right?
It's like, well, they had to make up for, I don't know.
It's
Make up for what?
the epic conclusion to the 20 plus years of storytelling.
And let's get this out of the way real quick, because you guys have mentioned this twice. Let this be the last one.
Yes.
I don't need another one of these.
It
No one
won't be.
asked for this.
You see the box office take already. No, they're gonna keep making these.
No,
They need to
yeah,
stop.
They have to.
there's a reason that they marketed this movie as the end of the Jurassic era, because in 20 years it's going to be Cretaceous Park.
Oh
But
my god!
But I don't need to see. The problem is, it's like, oh, now we're going to use these like Jurassic World characters as legacy characters. I don't need to see Chris Pratt in 20
No.
years. I really don't.
I like how
Pratt
you're
has
not
always
calling him his
been-
name. You're
Because
calling
his
him Chris
character
Pratt.
has no character.
That's
It's
what I'm
not-
saying.
It's
Hey.
just Chris Pratt. He
Hey,
plays
hey.
himself in every movie.
You guys want to know how the next Jurassic Park World movie is going to open?
I don't know if I want to know.
It's gonna be Chris Pratt looking out on the farm and being like, "Well, girl, I guess there you are again."
Nah, it's gonna be Chris Pratt assembling like Bryce Dallas Howard and the kids from the first Jurassic World movie, and he's gonna say, "Y'all, somehow the Indominus Rex has returned."
Yeah, and there's gonna be like Blue's grandchildren raptors running around the farm and all that. I mean,
Oh my
the vision of a zombie Indominus, and it like goes around, bites other dinosaurs, and turns them into zombies.
Inzominus Rex. Inzominus Rex.
oh no.
Jurassic World Resurrection.
Universal, please. Like, I know you have my number, like, somewhere, because I know, like, a lot of producers talk about me and talk to me. So I know you guys got my number somewhere. So hit us all up. We're all going to write the next Jurassic World for you.
No, I can't.
What if we made it
we can't do worse than the guys who have been running this franchise into the ground. So.
But
What if we just made it a shitpost?
But sometimes we just need to like bury the lightsabers into the sands of Tatooine and call it a day. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you bring that up, because I think it's really hard to watch this movie and not compare it to The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh my God.
They are very similar films in a lot of ways.
Everything down to how this movie was marketed.
Agreed.
Everything down to who gets the story credit on the film. Like
Everything down to the IGN score.
Was it the same score?
It was the same exact score. IGN, like, I don't like actually engage with their reviews. I just kind of click to the end of the video sometimes to see, like, oh, what the hell did they give it? They've been giving, like, everything the past, like, 2 months a 7 out of 10. They gave Rise of Skywalker a 7 out of 10 and Jurassic World Dominion a 7 out of 10. The only differentiation recently was they gave Alex Garland's Men a 5 out of 10.
Oh, yeah, they did. I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of comparison, though, because it's like, I mean, they are weirdly similar in that they're both very loud and bloated films that are really just chock full of member berries for, you know, the nostalgic crowds of like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
And they run so fast because, like, there's so many things going on that, like, by the time you're like, wait, that doesn't make sense, that's stupid, you're on to 4 or 5 other stupider plot points.
Yeah.
What was the Locust subplot? Everything just was like action scene exposition, clone girl who, like, they made her one of the most, like, insufferable characters of all time with what she did at the end of the last movie.
And they retcon that, just like Rise of Skywalker retconning shit from the other movies. So.
Well,
which that was probably the most baffling part. I know a lot of people point to the Locusts as being the worst, but for me, I think the most baffling thing was the retcon with the clone kids' backstory.
Yeah.
And the mother character who
she gave birth to her own clone
that they decide at the last minute is the most important character in this entire franchise, and they give her like the emotional final speech at the end, and I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
So
she's Maisie Lockwood. She's Maisie Lockwood, dipshit.
So
I don't. Well, it was a little less offensive. I don't know. The Locust thing was so utterly stupid. I don't know. And the fact that they hid that from all the marketing.
The one and only defense I'll give for the Locust subplot is that it does feel like something that Michael Crichton would have written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Maybe.
But I still don't like its execution. So.
It's like the idea of, like, the corporation, like, killing off all the crops that aren't using their seeds to, like, essentially gain a monopoly on the market. That's interesting, but just don't hand a story idea to Colin Trevorrow and your movie's going to work out fine.
Yeah, because he'll make the villain Tim Cook.
That was the weirdest thing was Campbell Scott is a brilliant actor. Like, he's great in even the worst movies.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Exactly. And he was so, like, awkward and just...
His direction was so weird. Like, that scene where he got mad, I was laughing.
Well, and then there's just those awkward pauses where he's just like standing there, and I'm like, cut.
Yeah.
Well, he's just waiting for direction that never comes, and it's like, and also the fact that he's supposed to be the character from the first movie.
They seem so
Dodson
different.
Character. They never like once acknowledge it really. So I'm guessing, like, and I've talked to like lay people who didn't even know who that character was. I'd be like, oh yeah, he was the guy who met with Newman in the first one, and they're like, really?
Yeah.
Like, they had no idea. So it's like, well, what was even the point of bringing back that character?
I'm not gonna lie.
You're not gonna do anything with him.
So, I didn't know that until today.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Exactly. There.
Yeah.
So
So I think I have an idea about why they decided to make Dodson the villain of this movie. So
On paper, it makes a lot of sense.
on paper it makes sense, but
He
then
was
I
the big
think,
bad of the books. So
yeah, I think that the reason that they did it though was because it would have been awkward if they had BD Wong continue to be the villain.
I don't think so. I think he
But-
should have been the villain, or
but
at
I mean,
least more
Yeah.
From
at
like,
the-
but I mean like from like how real life impacts the way films are made. It's like we have the whole, global thing with the germ that happened, and then that made hate toward.
yeah, I see now that yeah.
And so it's like I feel like that because it's like the last two Jurassic World movies came out before all that happened.
Right. And it's just like and they could have done something with that. Like, you know how like the first Jurassic World tries to be a satire for at least like 10 minutes. And it's kind of decent at like it's still like dumb, but it's still like trying.
Mhm.
And this movie could have gone with that with the pandemic angle, like, but they didn't. And there could have been some kernel of like, because there's clearly a parallel here between like some world-changing event of dinosaurs in the world and a worldwide pandemic, but they don't do anything with that, which I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's probably for the better with this.
Are you ready for the next Halloween film where it
Yeah.
takes place 4 years later and they address the pandemic?
Oh no!
They
Oh,
should
you
have done
bet.
that. They should have the dinosaurs coming out wearing masks.
Oh,
And,
with
like,
the subtlety of the last Halloween film.
Oh,
yeah.
and the twist is it's funded by the Daily Wire, and all the dinosaurs are being controlled by Anthony Fauci.
But no, the last thing I guess
And-
I want to say about like the Dotson and the evil company subplot is like, so I've been like a diehard Jurassic fan ever since I was a kid. So I've known about Dotson and Biosyn and all of this stuff, ever since I read those books when I was too young to really understand them. And so the idea of bringing them back for the final installment and finally making Biosyn like actually a part of the movie universe is a good concept on paper. They just did nothing with it because there was too much other stuff shoved into this movie for no point. I thought it was weird. So like the biggest thing about Biosyn is the rivalry with InGen. I don't think InGen gets mentioned once in this movie.
Never. I don't
Never.
think they ever, because I just thought like Biosyn was like, maybe they got bought out, like InGen got bought out by its parent company after all the shit that went down. There was
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Because they don't care.
So you guys want to know the funny thing?
What's
The
up?
park builder game.
Uh-huh.
I got the Dominion DLC just because I wanted the Theriznosaurus, the Wolverine dinosaur with the big claws, and I played like a bit of the campaign. Right away, they mentioned InGen and the rivalry between them and Biosyn in their campaign.
It's not hard to have that exposition.
I said in my review, the park builder game is a better sequel to Fallen Kingdom than this movie.
You got no. That's because when you went to theaters, you didn't buy the DLC ticket. Like, listen, you got the IMAX ticket, the 3D surcharge on top of that. You just forgot to add the story part onto your
Don't
ticket.
give them any ideas.
The extra $20 to get an extra the glowing appearance of the Giganotosaurus.
Yeah, I would.
Hold on. Can we talk about how Colin Trevorrow referred to the Giganotosaurus as the Joker of Jurassic Park? When it doesn't do anything.
It does nothing. They were hyping it up as like the new Spinosaurus. Like it's basically this movie's like villain dinosaur, like the Indominus was.
Instead of trying to like eat all the primary characters, he just spams them a bunch of like Reddit screenshots.
Yeah.
And then the funniest thing I thought about the Giga was that like the 3 times that it shows up, every time someone has to say it's the biggest carnivore to ever walk the earth. Like they had to mention that every time, and it's like, I get it. It's a big boy. I understand.
Yeah.
And that last fight, like the three-way dinosaur fight, was so pathetic. And like, oh, we have to do this now. It was like a checklist. Like,
literally, as soon as like I, it's gonna make me sound like a not nice moviegoer, but you know, I was so done with this at this point. I literally, when like they had what was I guess the audience cheer moment when the T-Rex came out, wait. This is okay. This is going to be our PG-13 F-bomb of the entire podcast. So okay, here we go. As soon as the T-Rex came out, like you saw its shadow like walking through the frame, and the characters are about to escape.
Recreates the movie logo.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I literally out loud in the theater, just like because I was so exhausted with everything, spurted out, "Oh my god, I don't fucking care."
I flipped off the screen. I was like, I cannot believe you did this.
Yeah.
Well, and then it's like they make it like such a big thing, like, oh yeah, like, okay, the fight between the Indominus and the Rex in the first Jurassic World kind of works because it's like, oh, nothing man-made is ever going to beat Mother Nature.
Yeah, there's a thematic reason for it. They've been building up the T-Rex this whole time. Like,
but they tried to have the Cap getting the hammer moment without actually like doing the legwork of caring about these like little berries.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then it's just like the fight, like the Therizinosaurus shows up, and it's just the T-Rex shoves Giga into the claws. It's dead, and it's over. And it's like, oh,
I was like,
the fight's over, guys. Let's move on.
At least whatever the one from like as god awful as the last one was, at least the dino in that one is memorable. They waste him, but it's memorable. What was his name? Like the Indoraptor.
The Indoraptor,
It was a cool design. It's just like the writing
like winks at the camera and does like horror movie like slasher stuff.
Yeah,
it has a memorable theme song. I can hum that theme, but like I will say, if we're comparing this to Fallen Kingdom, I do think I liked this one better.
Oh, easily.
Is that just because we have legacy characters that are
I think it has nothing to. For me, it was I went into Fallen Kingdom still hopeful because like, oh, Bayona is a good director. Yeah, and the last movie was, decent enough. It's a solid like popcorn blockbuster. So yeah, why not? And that one was just so shockingly stupid.
Yeah,
that it broke everything from this point on to me, to the point where I was actively looking forward to this movie being as stupid as possible, and it delivered. So I hated this movie, but I had so much fun with it that I kind of love it too.
I'm upset they never addressed like dinosaurs being like weapons again. I'm just really sad there wasn't the military subplot again, because like that was so stupid. Who would like just bring? Why don't you just bring friggin' like lions into any conflict that's going on?
This movie was getting so dumb that at a point I was really like, I was sitting through the credits and I was like, if there's a post-credit scene, can it be Samuel L. Jackson coming back with a robot arm?
Well, I do want to add, like, since we're talking about like the dinosaurs and stuff, one thing I do appreciate this movie for in comparison to the last two Jurassic World movies is that it made the dinosaurs again.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like as much as I appreciate the thematic reasons of the Indominus and the T-Rex and stuff, I hated that the last two movies made the dinosaurs like have morals. Like they have good dinosaurs and bad dinosaurs.
Right. Like they're just hungry animals.
Yeah, whereas like the original 3 Jurassic Park movies,
they're just animals.
They're just dinosaurs. They're just a force of nature. I guess maybe with the exception of the Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus is a bit of an anomaly in those movies.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
they're it's just like they turned dinosaurs into like Build-A-Bears essentially with these past like few world movies, because it's like it went from dinosaurs are these dangerous things and you really shouldn't like wreck with Mother Nature, especially when like Mother Nature killed them off to begin with, and then like World and Fallen Kingdom we're just like, well, I mean, yeah, they're dangerous, but they're still like raw XD cute little fuzzy wuzzies. That's like what the past one was, because like it was like, let's save the dinosaurs conservation type movie. Like, I don't want to sound heartless, but I think the ending of the last movie would have worked more if the villain pressed the button instead of the little girl.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and for me too, like, I think like the opening was actually like for this one, like I liked as stupid as Fallen Kingdom was, I liked where it ended in the sense that like, oh, now we have to do something different. It's not just going to be people running around on an island again.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like, okay, I mean, no, it's probably still going to be dumb, but like this is a neat concept. This is a neat place to take it. And I thought the first like 20 or so minutes before they introduced the locust thing, where we're just seeing people having to deal with dinosaurs in the real world, was really, really interesting and kind of well done. Like, I know, like, I kind of wish there was more of that. I think that's what like every review is going to say. But I don't know. There was a point early on where I'm like, okay, I can roll with this stuff. Like, I like the idea of like, oh, there's a dinosaur black market, and I thought that scene, it was very out of like Star Wars, but it was still kind of cool. It's like
it was a fun
location.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the frustrating thing comes not just from the fact that the big threat ends up being big bugs, but also that like by like the midway point, okay, no, we're just on this like research facility in Italy, but we're still in the woods being chased by dinosaurs, really.
Yeah.
The whole Trevorrow thing is that like I thought I was like one of those guys where it was like, oh, maybe Trevorrow is just a really bad writer, but like he's a decent director, which honestly, there's some decently directed scenes in all of his films that I've seen.
Oh, yeah. He's a very good. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Finish what you were about to say.
I was going to say something really quick. Is that I've always known him, or I've heard of him being described as a very good actors director, and you get that from like all of his movies, even Book of Henry to an extent.
Right.
But and that was what was shocking about this one, is that like you have the people like Campbell Scott, who just like has no direction. Like there's so many, and I'm picking on him, but there's a lot, like basically everyone at different points in this movie is just like you're just kind of, he left you out to dry here. Like
it's also the script that they're working with, I think. Like I never want to bash another filmmaker, like in terms of that. Like as filmmakers ourselves, it's in poor spirit, but I'm like, I know your limitations, and I just don't think Colin Trevorrow should be let near a script.
I wonder if any of like the direction in this movie, can we attribute any of it to like maybe bitterness over losing Star Wars, and like he had to come back to this franchise, which is kind of how JJ feels in directing Rise of Skywalker. It's another parallel.
Well,
it's like, yeah, okay, I'll do this one too, I guess.
I thought that he said that like this was the movie he wanted to make, and the first two were leading up to that. But
I've heard that too, but it's hard to see that while watching the movie. It's like, this feels kind of like, was this really what you wanted to make? Like, it's just so all over the place and not focused.
Oh, remember the CIA scene where they like go meet Detective Pikachu guy, and they like get him the information. Like it tries to be like one of those scenes where it's like they're being covert and everything, but it's like they're showing up to the CIA headquarters and like having lunch with him in the middle of like the like tables, in between the buildings.
The 25-minute chunk in the early part of the movie where it just was a Mission Impossible movie with dinosaurs was entertainingly bad in the way that like, well, this is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that chase scene was fun enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I the best thing that I think that scene did though is that it at least gave the legacy characters like a stake in the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because a lot of movies that do rely on having legacy characters, I've noticed just to like, they're there to be there.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at least this time they were like,
they have an active subplot. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I didn't need the subplot of Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler getting together.
Yeah, that
That
felt
was
like
for the
fan
fans.
service for
That was
such
for
a
the fans.
But,
such
like,
a niche corner of the fan base though. Like I don't know that many people who are like bitter about them not being together. Like
Yeah, it's like so niche. I didn't even know that it was a niche until that happened, and people were like, "Oh my God, it finally happened!" And I was like,
right.
But it's the most cliche way of going about it, and the most fan servicey way, because they don't explain like why her and her other husband, like why it didn't work out. It's just like it didn't work out, and they bring that up like in the first sentence, and then just so they can have that scene at the end. Like they don't. It's not a part of their arc. It's just like Colin Trevorrow's like, I want you guys to end up together at the end of the movie still.
Yeah,
Also,
and that was one of the weird things too. Is like again, kind of going back to like the direction, because like the first couple scenes with like Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, like they felt kind of off in the sense that like I almost feel like the direction was, oh, you guys know these characters, you've played them for 20 years, and it's like, no, they haven't played them in 20 years. Like you need to direct them. You wrote the script. Like,
did he though? Did he?
to be fair, in Jeff Goldblum's case, when he's playing Ian Malcolm, he's just playing himself.
right.
So
And
he's
he
playing
like I
Ian
feel like
Malcolm
once
all
they
of his
got the
life.
three of them all together, their chemistry just kind of carried them through the rest of the movie. And they were all great after that point. But I remember those first couple scenes with like, we're like, no, this is awkward. Like,
Laura Dern at first wasn't doing it for me, but then like
I agree.
it coalesced into working by the end of the movie. It was just, it was nice. I just like seeing all of them come back and like interact. But it was what it was. Also, Zach, I feel like you haven't said that much, buddy. What are you, chip in your 2 cents on some of this stuff if you have anything to say?
Oh my God.
We've been saying a lot.
Yeah.
This is something I would like to point out to the audience. All these people love Jurassic Park way more than I do. I mean, this is.
I was about to say, because you seem like opinionless on this movie when I asked you about it.
I just don't care. Like,
Yeah.
For me, like I went to see it. It felt a little long, but like I have no stakes in this. Like the franchise at this point, I just don't care if it's good or bad. I mean, I grew up with the Jurassic Park movie and I loved it as a kid. But for me, I've always been more of a Jaws guy, like I've told Eric before.
Mm-hmm.
And like even there, I've kind of resigned to the fact that the sequels suck.
Yeah.
There's just no getting around it.
And that is definitely still the case with like every Jurassic Park sequel pales in comparison to the original. Like you can't possibly get close to.
Isn't Jaws 2 like not terrible?
No, it's bad. No. It's horrific. It's bad.
Is it Jaws 4 bad?
They're all bad.
Okay.
They're coming for that next, right? I'm almost certain of it. We're gonna get Jaws 5 any day now. They're gonna dredge up Richard Dreyfuss.
No, they don't need to do that. No,
they're going to. There's money.
They better not. They better not touch that.
I feel like they're just going to reboot it. I don't think it's going to be like Jaws 5. I think they'll just try to capture the magic of the original. And I feel bad for the poor sap of a filmmaker that's going to be like...
Who draws the short straw?
Well, that's what I'm saying, because like a lot of like these like bigger blockbuster movies anymore, big studios pluck these like small town directors out of like indie obscurity. It's like, okay, make a big budget movie, and it's like they're just like happy to have the opportunity, but they're just saddled with something that they're not prepared for, and they try to like have their own little touches on it that simply don't translate to a big budget film, at least at that point in their career. And then this like people look at them and like, oh, it's just either it's too ambitious or it's just more commercially made because like the studio probably interfered. And that's what I feel like is sort of the case with this, but I don't know like just how much influence actually Trevorrow had, but like with how stupid it got towards the end, I think that was just Trevorrow's doing, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Obviously, that kind of gets into like the inner workings of the industry, and I don't know as much of how exactly that all went down. But I'm trying to think. Does anyone have anything like positive to say?
Yeah, so like I'll say this. Like I haven't really wanted to go to the films like in theaters lately. I don't know if that's like the snob in me, but I just haven't really had the interest in it. I caught Top Gun Maverick, which was definitely a better film than this, by the way. And I'm not even a fan of Top Gun.
Way better than any right to be. Like, I kind of really enjoyed that movie.
Agreed. Yeah, it was well done. But like, I mean, in the group text, I said I had like free Regal tickets, so it wasn't like I was supporting Jurassic World Dominion in any way. I was a dead seat. And like, yeah, I mean, if you want to like turn your brain off and watch like an action-y movie, like the dinosaur stuff is actually fairly good in it. I thought of all the world sequels, this is the one that had the best looking dinosaurs, personally.
I would agree with that. I think the animatronic work was definitely stronger in this one than the other two.
Yeah. And I didn't hate watching this either. I sat through Fallen Kingdom and I just despised every decision I made in my life getting to that moment to watch that movie because it was just so bad.
Yeah, it's such a baffling train wreck.
But
Did you have like an everything everywhere all at once moment where you like tried to rethink your decision so that way you'd end up in a multiverse where you didn't see Fallen Kingdom?
Well, it was like I heard they were talking about Robert Downey Jr. and back when he was like really doing drugs, and apparently
this is a great segue.
Apparently he went to a Burger King. And the Burger King was so bad that he decided that he needed to get his life together, and that's what led to sobriety.
Wait, is that why Tony Stark is asking for cheeseburgers in Iron Man 1?
And that's why he gets Burger King burgers in Iron Man 1.
And is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom the reason you're 4 years sober, Zach?
I'm not sober anymore, but to be fair, it was definitely a low point in my life. And like, I can't say I felt that way about this film. There were so many moments that things happened on the screen, and I was just bursting out laughing. It was so funny.
Yeah.
It was so funny. And it was great also because it was like hardly anyone was at my screening. It was a bunch of old people and like one giant family. And so like every moment that there was something completely absurd in the film, it would be me and this like 60-year-old man sitting right behind me just chuckling like old men from the Muppets. I mean,
it's like go on get to like any of like whenever like Chris Pratt was being a cowboy, I just laughed my ass off.
When they did the dove scene at the very beginning, I could not hold it in at all. Like those doves, like immediately get thrown in the air and they die immediately.
Well, that was funny. That was actually like a good bit of dark comedy.
I just love. I ask you guys to be kind to the movie, and you immediately just start praising Top Gun and shitting on Fallen Kingdom instead.
No, I'm serious. Like it could be like Fallen Kingdom where I was just baffled at why this movie even exists. But with this, it was like, yeah, there's some like entertaining moments. And I don't know, there's something about like a Freddy Krueger dinosaur walking around this reserve that just also is like, that's a little creative. And it's like the small things like that I dug. It's mostly the dinosaur stuff, though.
The scene with like Bryce Dallas Howard in the swamp with that thing was like the one moment of tension that I thought actually kind of worked. Like I was like, oh,
it's called a Theriznosaurus.
Wait, it wasn't when Chris Pratt and the lady.
People know these dinosaurs.
I have a dinosaur.
You mean when they crashed an airplane and neither of them had any injuries whatsoever?
They crashed an airplane into an icy river and got out just fine. And Chris Pratt even falls into the water, the below freezing water, and it's never
easily
addressed.
Been just snapped up and eaten by that dinosaur.
Well, not even just that, but like when he gets out of the water, it's like he's gonna freeze to death.
I will say though, and one of the things I guess the last kind thing I'll say, and then we can go back to giving this movie its proper beatdown. I actually kind of liked that pilot lady character.
Oh, she was nice.
Yeah. I liked her. She was cool.
Like I thought, like the idea of this like Indiana Jones character in this dinosaur world is like, oh no, this is fun. I can hang with this.
Yeah.
Does it fit at all with would this character fit in the Jurassic Park No, not at all. Like as part of the Crichton universe, absolutely not. But we're so far removed from that at this point that I'm willing to enjoy this, snarky scoundrel like Indiana
Well,
Jones
I want
pilot.
to see. I want to see that actress in more stuff. She was actually like really good, fit the part well,
Oh, yeah.
and aside from like that character, just like her Han Solo character transition moment where she becomes noble and does the right thing is a little bit out of left field, but her performance made it work. And honestly, I think if we're gonna like pick up positives, what you guys said, the animatronics and Pilot Lady, also
Yep.
Jeff Goldblum making fun of the movie. Those are like,
and every line he has, it's almost like he's asking a question, and it's not like a line. Like the way he delivers everything in this movie is hilarious.
so how loud is that coffee maker? Because like he's like, we got to have the conversation while.
Oh, I forgot that scene was so
yeah.
strange.
Yeah,
Like
So
the sound
weird.
editing on that was bizarre.
like this
Yeah.
has to be the loudest coffee maker in existence because like he's handing over very sensitive private corporate information like in the middle of like the lobby.
I
And
Wait,
like
completely forgot about that. That was so weird.
I thought it was
Yeah.
a blender.
It was some kind of Starbucks machine. I don't know.
Okay, I thought it was a blender, and I was like, I
No,
guess
it's to steam the milk. I was a barista. That's what you
Oh,
use. Like,
okay.
steam-
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay,
Let's
okay.
let the expert talk.
that's what I was saying.
All right, I'll just mute up and go.
So Zach,
I-
are those machines that loud?
Yes, they are. They are very
Okay.
loud. Yeah.
Okay, so everything else in the movie is stupid except for that.
Okay.
No, it would. Yeah, honestly, it's very hard to hear people when you're using that machine, especially if you're like right close to the counter like that to it.
Yeah, but if we have to see more of these movies, because they're gonna make more, right?
yeah,
like,
they were.
I would be okay with like Dinosaur Wrangler, like Pokemon Adventure with Indiana Jones Pilot Lady, like
That could.
Well,
Like,
just
okay,
as a spin-off, like whatever.
you guys remember the Atlantis direct-to-video movie?
I haven't seen
Sequel or
either
the
of
first
them.
one.
It's
Wait,
like where
which-
it's like where they fight like sand demons and the Kraken.
Are you talking about the Disney one?
Yeah, the Disney one.
Okay, I never saw the second one.
No, they fight sand demons? No, they don't do that in Atlantis.
They go in the desert.
Wait, you're not talking
No,
about
no, no, no,
Atlantis
no.
SquarePants from SpongeBob?
No, no, I'm
Okay.
talking about
This is now an Atlantis Square
Wait.
Panthers discussion.
no,
Let's talk about that.
That slaps. Yeah.
no. The only reason I'm bringing up those like direct-to-video movies where they're like fighting Ragnarok in one of the parts of the movie.
Huh?
Do you guys not know what I'm talking about?
No, I have
never
no
seen
clue.
this,
We're
dude.
just yeah.
I'm talking about the one with Milo and like.
Yeah, no, I know. I just never saw Atlantis too. Like,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
and
So Atlantis
What?
2. I'm bringing
You've
this-
never seen it?
Let me. I have a reason for bringing this up. So, Atlantis 2 is basically the group from the original Atlantis movie going around and like stopping like mythical creatures and stuff like that.
I thought you were about to say terrorist attacks.
Well,
They go around stopping terrorist attacks.
if you think about it,
It's the Atlantis sequel.
Odin in the third part of that movie is technically a terrorist. But anyway, I would be fine if this movie was just like if this or another movie is just a group of characters going around the world and solving dinosaur problems. That would
Okay.
arise if dinosaurs just suddenly came back.
I feel like the world of the movie now, like where these last two movies kind of end up, is a great opening, and I'm sure they're planning something like this for like just a weird TV show about like different dinosaur adventures around the world, like trying to figure out what to do about these things.
I'd like to see, I guess, if we have to keep going, either that or honestly just reboot it and make it a straight up like horror movie.
Yeah, I do think like doing a series like closer in the vein of the original book where it is just straight up horror, like could be cool.
Yeah.
I think it should just be taken outside and shot in the back of the head.
Lenny from Mice and Men.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: like, if they're gonna go anywhere with it, they need to get really weird with it. Like, why not just like do Westworld as well with it? Like, bring in some more Crichton stuff and have like all sorts of weird like time periods and genre mixing going on with Jurassic Park stuff.
Look,
I mean,
I'm not saying this movie wasn't devoid of creativity in a lot of places, but I don't think I've ever laughed harder at a movie than when Chris Pratt chokes out a fucking dinosaur while his friend comes up behind and tases it in the brain.
yeah, but that's
That
not
happened in
creative.
this
That's
movie,
just
and that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
That was the most. I think that was the most brutal death in Jurassic Park since like when Dennis Nedry got killed.
Yeah.
Actually, no, because there was the Jurassic Park 3 where the raptor puts its claw in the back of that guy's head.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, like these the like these past two Jurassic movies, like not saying like they have to be like excessively disturbing or anything, but like I feel like the violence in the past two have been like fairly toothless. Like like there was that scene in Jurassic World that even I thought like, oh man, that like went a little too far when like the babysitter lady was like dragged up and like that poor lady died like the most cruel death ever. And then like everything in the new one is like everybody that's one of the main characters essentially is plot armor, and the violence is like virtually like bloodless, which I know PG-13, but it just feels like, do you feel like to anybody else like the last two ones have been like really, really toothless?
I think so, and I think I can point to the exact point why was the backlash to like the one assistant lady from Jurassic World where she got like the most violent death ever in that movie.
Was like
Yeah.
it was like so like honestly like genuinely kind of disturbing just out of nowhere. Yeah.
See,
and I feel like the reaction to that kind of told them to like ease off of that kind of stuff where it's like, okay, well only bad guys can get eaten by the dinosaurs now, and all of it has to be like scream cutaway.
see,
yeah.
My headcanon for, I guess, reality is that assistant lady was played by like Colin Trevorrow's like ex-girlfriend or something.
Like ex-girlfriend at the time, or like
ex-girlfriend at the time, and he was just really mad at her, and he was like acted like he was going to bury the hatchet, and
then he just killed her in the movie.
Yeah, I'll give you this part in this movie, and it's going to be a very important part. And then he just gave her the most brutal death.
That's concerning, Mr. Trevorrow.
That's my headcanon. That's my headcanon. Because I cannot explain why her death was so brutal.
Oh, I thought you meant like that's actually what that was, and I was
that's my headcanon for reality.
Okay.
But yeah, like, because it's so out of left field in that movie. But yeah, I get where you're coming from, Eric. Where it's like, I think that like, yeah, people got upset with that, and so then they're like, okay, no more good people can die like from dinosaurs.
Sorry, go ahead.
We need to get you boys to watch some more art films. Goddamn.
Well, I watch art films. It's just like every now and then I want to. Well, one, the first Jurassic Park like is a legitimate like commentary on humanity playing God, and it's like more just like it's not all just about the spectacle of the big dinosaurs like roaring and crashing into each other. Like they're quiet, tender moments, like when the Brontosaurus is by the lake and everything, and it's just all that stuff that goes.
The ice cream scene, that's like brilliant. Like
the ice cream scene, every like part of that movie, like they're like it's not just go tension, like the entire there's tension, but there are also moments of brevity and like actual human interaction between everybody.
Yeah, it's masterful.
It's very well paced, and
it's like that to me is what I've always liked about Steven Spielberg stuff, like his earlier stuff, is I like that he rarely has a direct antagonist, like a physical antagonist. It's always like a concept.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like in the first Jurassic Park, it is like people trying to play God, and capitalism is the antagonist of the movie.
Main villain isn't evil mean dinosaur go rawr.
No,
Yeah.
it's evil. It's evil, mean company guy that wants to take over video game system. I'm still upset that friggin' Spielberg directed Ready Player One because of how much I hate that movie and how much I admire Spielberg. I'm like,
Well, yeah, well, that's why I clarified his earlier work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's had he's had his strikes the past few years. Really like West Side Story.
West Side Story was good. Adventures of Tintin is goated.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give him those two.
Bridge of Spies was good. It's boring, but it's good.
Wait, what?
Which one?
Bridge of Spies.
I still need to see that one.
I thought you said Resident, and I thought you would talk about Resident Evil, and I was like, Steven.
Yeah.
Oh yes, my
Spielberg
favorite.
did that.
Well, Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City.
Hey, don't be dissing on Resident Evil. It's a good game series.
Well, I'm talking. Did you see the new one, the new live action movie that came out?
Honestly, as a fan of Resident Evil, I refuse to watch any of the movies, and I've never seen any of them.
I mean,
they're
fair
so
enough.
great. They're so
But-
great, dude.
They made the new one, and like I get that like those movies had lower budgets, and I've only seen snippets of it, but I'm like, know your limitations. Don't show the creature on screen for as long as you do when you don't have the budget to make it look good. Because like, good God, some of the CG in that is just it's pretty atrocious, and I'm like, I feel bad because they didn't have the money, but it's like, just save it for the money shots.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned CG because I kind of want to go back to when we were trying to do the one positive thing about Jurassic Dominion before we went right back to shitting on it.
Yeah.
When you pointed out how good like the dinosaurs looked,
Yeah.
one of the things that I was very impressed by in Dominion was even when the dinosaurs were CGI, how much weight they had to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Blue, I was like, when she's walking in the snow and you see like the snow shifting, like, I don't know. I was like, because every time, with the exception of like how the dinosaurs in the first Jurassic Park looked, sometimes you can tell that they're CGI. But when you look at the CGI dinosaurs in this movie, I was always like, these actually feel like that they're actually tangible, but they're computers.
And I will also say that for the sound design, like I wasn't thinking I would like it as much, but when I was at that Regal theater, it did a really good job with like getting the dinosaurs movement, and like just the sound of like leaves crunching and whatnot was just, it felt so real. Like I wasn't expecting to like that as much as I did. And usually I'm not like really picking that out, but like when, there's not a whole lot going on, you get a little more like opportunity to look for some of the stuff. But yeah, I think like everything about the dinosaurs, between like the design, the CGI, the sound design, all that was great. And I wish the film had so much more of that, because that's where, I mean, everyone wants to just see dinosaurs at the end of the day. That's the appeal of Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I know I noticed the sound design, like you said, during the Theriznosaurus scene.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about how like that scene had some like pretty good tension, and I think a lot of that is because like they cut the music in that scene, and you just hear this blind Wolverine dinosaur skulking about, and I was like, oh, this is making my skin crawl. Colin Trevorrow, what are you doing? You're doing something right.
What?
There were a lot. I will say this: like, there's a lot of great looking shots in this film too. Like the way that they shoot night in this, I thought was really well done compared to some of the other Jurassic World movies. Personally, especially the visual of the locusts on fire coming down from the sky. Like
Yeah.
it was so absurd, like the whole movie. But like when it gets to like that point in the film and it looks so apocalyptic, I don't know, something about it. Like I love the way that looked, and like
Yeah.
that whole climate, that final bit of climax when they're like trying to get out, like that just looked really good compared to like the rest of the movie that looked so like flat. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the reason I didn't think like the other shots looked as flat, I guess, compared to like a lot of movies that come out anymore, is that like I do appreciate that Colin Trevorrow is like one of those guys that's still like adamant about shooting on film. I can always appreciate that, even though like I do understand that like digital cameras are like easier to use and like they do still like have very good quality image, but I appreciate seeing a movie shot on film that's a big budget release. I gotta give credit where credit is due.
I often wonder though, especially on this one, if it's ever awkward on set with like, you know, Bryce Dallas Howard now off directing Star Wars. He's ever like, she's like talking about it and he's like, oh, it must be nice.
Let's save the Star Wars talk for another day, because I'm pretty sure we have lots to discuss about that angle of all this.
Yeah.
We'll be back for a Kenobi discussion, I'm sure.
Oh no, yeah.
I still need to watch all the new shows. Like, I thought about this, but I thought Mando's good.
No.
It's fine.
Season 1, if you're gonna watch it, watch season 1 and then don't worry about season 2 too much.
See them for yourself, okay?
Okay, because I thought some people like really like a lot of it. I know Boba Fett people didn't care for. My deal with like Obi-Wan is that like there's no like really in between. It's people either love it or hate it. So I may watch the prequels again this week and then watch Obi-Wan, like rewatch prequels because I haven't seen them in a long time to freshen myself up for it. But I don't know. Like, I love Ewan McGregor in that role, and a lot of the actors they picked for the parts intrigue me. Like, I know Benny Safdie and Kumail Nanjiani, just interesting choices for the Star Wars universe, but I hope to see them. Like,
hey audience, this is just a little taste of our next discussion on Kenobi.
Oh yeah.
No. I want to get really heated for that too. I don't know if I'm prepared for that.
I just think it's funny that we seem to be wanting to talk about anything but Jurassic World.
Okay.
Jurassic World dumb minion, more like a Jurassic World dumb minions, then I'd go see it.
I just honestly, other than like a few like bonkers moments, I don't think there's a whole lot to say about this movie.
Yeah, and I think that kind of extends to the whole like trilogy as well. It's like, yeah, they're bafflingly bad, but like I'm not really gonna remember them in the same way you will. Even like the original 3, and like obviously 2 and 3 are not great movies, but like
I like 2. I like
they
2.
have charm to them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I like that. For me, it's like that's why I feel like, again, if you are looking for entertainment with dinosaurs, I think these movies are perfect.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people say, and I kind of agree with it, where it is kind of nice just, hey, it's a franchise movie that doesn't have superheroes in it. Like,
yeah.
Even though I guess, you know, Chris Pratt and friends are indestructible, so.
Oh, speaking of like superheroes in the Jurassic Park universe, did you guys hear of the possibility that they're going to do a crossover with Jurassic Park with the Fast and Furious?
That can't be real. Wait, that can't be real.
It was a rumor that I heard, but
it's still just rumors, but
the rumor extended from like an exec at Universal.
And at this point in the franchise, I don't care anymore.
Me neither.
Literally, honestly. Like, I mean, I'd say either just go full stupid or reboot it as like a straight up horror movie. Those are like the only things that I'd say do with this at this point. Like, I stopped watching I may honestly marathon Fast and Furious, all of them, before 10. Maybe I'll subject myself to that over the course of a few days sometime in the next year, which that's going to be I love Justin Lin not wanting to work with Vin Diesel anymore, just because Vin Diesel is like a nightmare. Apparently,
Yeah.
that new director is, oh boy, he's got his work cut out for him.
Well, I think we're all kind of done with talking about
Yeah,
We'd
I think
all
we
rather
are.
talk about
Minions.
Fast and
Wait, okay,
Furious.
before did you guys get that like little bump before the movie started with the Minions and like the
Mhm.
Jurassic World thing?
Wait, what?
I just wanted to make
I
sure
got
everybody else saw that.
Oh, you
I
mean
got
the-
that, and it's because I had like a Mike Stoklasa moment where, like, at one point after seeing, I was like, "Do you remember that part where like the raptors like were flying the airplane?"
Or the Minions were being chased. Wait, no, they were being chased by the giant minion.
Hey, it is called Jurassic World Dominion.
Dominions, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess to close out, what would y'all rate this movie? And why would you rate it that?
I'd say a generous 2.5 out of 10.
Oh my God.
And that's a generous one because it could have just been a straight up 2 or maybe a 1.5. But like, it's just, it's so like, I would never watch this again. Like, even if I were held at gunpoint, I'd just say, pull the trigger, buddy. But I don't, it's just, it's such a slog. It's not even that entertaining. And all the entertainingly stupid shit is just, it goes on for so long and it's so over the top that at a certain point it just becomes exhausting. I think it's like what people are saying about the new Fast and Furious movies is what I feel watching this, and it hurts to see because I'm indebted to Jurassic Park
Yeah.
just as a franchise because that movie really influenced me and I care about it a lot. That I see essentially everything they put out at least once, maybe in the theater, but this was a chore. I went to go see a separate good movie afterwards. That's my explanation for my rating. Go see The Bad Guy. Jurassic World Dominion, 2.5 out of 10. Go see The Bad Guys instead. I'll change my Letterboxd review to that.
I think on Letterboxd I gave it like a half star,
Okay.
and I also gave it a heart. So I think that should tell you how I feel about it. And I'll say what I said there as well, which is basically the thing they don't tell you about jumping the shark is that it can be a hell of a fun ride.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
Zach, what would
and
you
I'll be
give it?
first in line for Jurassic World 4.
God, man, this is some deep cuts to Jurassic World Dominion. I'm going to give it, as honestly, as a film person, I'm going to give it a 6. I mean, it's so painfully average as a film. Like, there's a few things I like. It's cool to see Sam Neill in literally anything these days, so I'll go for that. But it wasn't offensively bad. And it wasn't 4 hours long either. So it was basically not Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I really appreciated about it because it was stupid, but there was also a lot of times where I was legitimately having like a laugh or actually having fun watching it. So I can't say it's a terrible movie, but I also can't say it's good. And I know that I definitely have like the not bias of like not like really loving the original Jurassic Park. It's a great film, but it's never been one of those like tentpole films for me that defined an era of my film tastes or wanted me to get into film in general. So I don't know. I'm definitely like, if you want to see it, go for it. I mean, Top Gun Maverick is definitely a better film, and that's out still. So I would just go see that. But if you like dinosaurs, and yeah, go watch Jurassic World Dominion and hope to God that this is the last one, because it's the same thing over and over again at this point.
I was about to say, if you like dinosaurs, go see Top Gun Maverick and see Tom Cruise still walking around. You know.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's my joke of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stay. I'll be here all week behind the dumpster if you ever want to like see or talk to me.
So that just leaves Kyle's score here.
Yeah. What score would you give it? Let's all gang up on him. Let's make him not feel anxious. What score would you give it? Come on, guys.
I'm gonna keep it the score that I gave for my review. I put all of my guilty pleasure movies in the 4 out of 10 category. So it's a 4 out of 10 for me. It's going in with the Venom movies. I know it's bad. I know it's trash. But honestly, if I'm sitting home alone, I will probably put this movie on to watch.
It's a 1 out of 10 movie with 4 out of 10 energy.
I still just think it's so funny that the one of us who is the least of anything gave it the highest rating.
Again, it's one of those movies that it's not offensively bad. Like I can't sit here and say this movie pissed me off while I was watching it. Like they weren't doing everything in their power to make me upset.
Yeah, it was not offensively bad.
Yeah. And that's why I give it a 6, because I don't think 6s are all that high. But again, it wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just one of those films that, yeah, I saw it, and yeah, I had the ticket stub, but outside of that, I don't remember anything, and I probably won't ever see it again. And that's fine. That's totally fine.
Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. I think that's going to wrap up the discussion of Jurassic World Dominion. Thank you all for watching. If anybody's watching, we're still building our YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Nobody's here yet. But hopefully somebody will watch it. If you watch to the end, please head down to the comments with the time code of any responses that you want to make to points that we discussed. And we'll be back for Kenobi.
And we will be live on CNN with these debates, and we will pull you up even if you're not good at debating. And you will be live in front of the country, live broadcast. There's no way out of it. You will be forced to publicly speak, and if not, you will spend the rest of your life in prison. And that's not a joke either. I don't know why you're laughing.
Cutting the recording. I don't know what to say that. I don't think anyone knows what to say.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. We will see you all next time.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.